BigJackFilms' production of King Kong is probably the most perplexed piece of cinematic ape-throwing feces I've ever seen. I mean, honestly, it's so astonishing on how fucking bad it is as a remake. Almost as bad as the amount of shitty remakes made in 1998. Remakes like Mighty Joe Young, Godzilla, Psycho, and that remake of The Invisible Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon. Oh, wait. That movie came out later. Fuck! Now, was this movie clearly made by a bunch of autistic mongoloids, just Jack Buchanan stroking his egotistical dick on his King Kong fetish? Or was it made with the love and passion bringing to life a failed script that Peter Jackson tried to make in the 90s?
I got so far and just realized it was never going to be what I was imagining it to be in my mind.
Well, don't worry. I'm here to help all you poor suckers who got roped into watching this movie. All 300,000 of you. I mean, I once roped 300,000 hookers into my creepy chicken ranch and had them all perform a massive blood orgy to please my massive, sweaty, smelly, throbbing cock.
Mr. Bootleg Plinkett, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, hey BigJackFilms. I was just about to review your King Kong YouTube remake movie. And that's Mr. Bodie Plinkett to you.
Yeah, Plinkett, you know reviewing Kong films is my job, right?
Oh. Well, I already started the review, you see. And I got my hooker bones and everything. Oh yeah, I'll grind those bones to lube my cock. Yeah, that'll do that.
Good lord, why did I write this into the script? Well, bottom line, I review the King Kong fan films. Make yourself useful and review a Star Wars fan film or something. You're plenty good at that, so don't ever hack into my show again.
Wow, what a wise fucking asshole. Well, okay, I guess I could review some fan films. Anyways, Star Wars Trails of the Dark Side is the most overdone concept imaginable, because other YouTubers managed to crank out this shitty concept faster than they did. Oh, fuck! Oh, God damn it!
I'm only delaying the inevitable. Hey buddies, welcome back to the King Kong review series. Well, y'all knew this was coming, didn't ya? With all the King Kong fan films out there, it's all led to this. So why am I taking a look at my own Canadian creation? Because Lord knows I've had to deal with enough nipple-hardened Canadian kaijus. Can I just review Prime Survival instead? No! Okay, fuck it. Let's take a look at my 2016 remake of King Kong. So the movie opens, oddly enough, with a prologue that sounds like a crappy backstory to a Bay Formers movie as we open to the SS Venture of the Inglehorn Oil Corporation. As we enter Constant Day for Night, we meet our main lead of the movie, Captain Jack Driscoll, played by Brett Charles, who confronts his permitted boss filmmaker, Carl Denham, played by Jake Robertson, as they make some classic banter.
What do you think the dock marshal's gonna say about these chloroform grenades? Just one of these things could take out a full-grown elephant.
Man, the dialogue is on so much repeat in these goddamn remakes. Come on, guys, do something creative for a change. Wait. So Dr. Whomst says that Denham is without a girl for his movie as the ship sets sails. During the voyage, Jack is still curious about their classified destination as it turns out their location was actually classified by the government. Okay, maybe I had to take notes from the first draft from my novelization, but I at least had to fill some stuff in.
What the hell are you talking about?
But it turns out the crew discovered a stowaway in a university archaeologist, Ann Darrow, played by Sylvana Boonstra, who got tips on Denham's voyage to the mysterious island they're heading to.
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean any harm.
Oh, you didn't, did you? Well, you better not be from the press, because if you are, there's going to be a huge lawsuit.
What's up with the first mate's grin there? Does he just get aroused by the thoughts of lawsuits? Well, if that's the case, this guy must love Judge Booty.
What are they gonna do, sue me? Huh? Get in line.
So Jack decides to give Anne a job as the expedition's official photographer, while Denham sees more of a pretty face for his movie. However, Jack sees otherwise.
Now don't tell me you've gone soft on me, Jack.
No, not on you or me, but on Anne.
Oh, you have gone soft on her already.
Well, I just met her like a minute ago, and I'm technically the hero of this picture, so you know we're gonna end up together. While Jack seems concerned about the pretty face for Denham's movie, the filmmaker's true motives is on the legendary mythical god known as Kong, who is said to live on the island.
Giant beast. Think we'll need a straitjacket for him by the time this is done?
By the time this was done, I'd say you'd need it now with the look he's scheming up.
Is he asking for more money? He's asking us to fund a wild goose chase.
So Denham preps the first scene that makes any Bela Lugosi Ed Wood production look more subtle.
Fuck you!
As Anne cues up her performance. Get ready for this, folks. The cringe is strong with this one. This is embarrassing. Where's Godzilla to set me on fire and put me out of my misery? Seriously, what was I thinking? So with a montage of Jack looking at her porn filmography and Sylvana realizing what movie she signed up for, we enter the iconic fog bank as the crew arrive on the island and Denham does a screen test. Or should I say a scream test?
Was that a bear?
Probably some fat guy in a monkey suit letting off a large fart. So the group comes across the pretty impressive wall of the island.
It's only a model.
As they come across the suited version of Lord of the Flies, which even come with tree stump drums. But the cover is blown as the group make their escape. However, Jack is knocked out this time around as he awakens on the side of the wall with his hands in bondage.
Damn it. My hands are tied.
No! They killed Bradley! And it won't be the first time, so I might as well just have a counter. Watch, this thing's gonna go up. So Anne is presented in an obvious green screen effect as a sacrifice to the great god of the island.
Oh my god, how embarrassing! Almost as embarrassing as Jack's relationship with some Japanese robot cartoon piece of crap.
Watch it, bootleg Plinkett, or I'll send a Lucasfilm over with another copyright claim.
You just tell me, right now, say it.
So Kong retreats into the jungle as the rescue party, led by Bob, played by Evan Matthews, raid the village as Jack and Denham come up with a plan.
Damn it, Carl, I knew something like this would happen. What are we gonna do?
We're going to go after it. Nothing makes a monkey out of me.
It's so ridiculous, I've gone bananas! Hey, if this movie can rip off lines from George Shrinks, I can at least rip off lines from Dr. Wolfula's King Kong Lives review.
We'll get her back. Nobody makes a monkey out of me.
So the crew set up a rescue search as they venture off into the dark jungles. However, it sounds like they're not off to a good start with one of their first two casualties. Yeah, come on, fellas. Back!
Whoa!
What happened?
Denham, you okay?
Yeah, I just fell in a goddamn hole.
That's not a hole.
Well, it's nice to know they went with the Godzilla 98 route of finding footprints.
That's great. Here's your sample. What sample? You're standing in it.
However, to no surprise...
Holy fucking shit, it's a dinosaur, Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
Okay, that's the last time I used that joke in a while. Intentionally. So as the crew make camp for the night, we cut back to Bob, who is setting up pipelines for the oil specialist, played by Jacob Colley, whose name is...
Hyde.
Hyde. Dr. Hyde. Okay. I know what I did, folks, and I apologize for that, but hey, it's a better Easter egg than whatever Russell Crowe was playing.
And I'm Javert!
The next morning, Anne wakes up to find the giant monkey by her side.
Such a nice ape, such a nice, sweet monkey. It's a sign of insecurity, you know, like when you knock down trees.
Well, Godzilla was no help. Let me see if I can find something a little harsher. Can somebody direct me to Pulgasari? God, this scene is so cringy, even Kong is sick of this bullshit. In fact, why the hell am I even asking that? I fucking wrote it! However, with the crew, things are a little worse as a stampede ensues, only for them to escape up a hill as raptor-sized carnivores chase after them.
Take my hand!
And this action scene is so suspenseful it caused Jack to get multiple haircuts.
Jurassic Park is frightening in the dark.
So the group escapes, only to come across a boggy swamp.
Wait a minute. What about those logs over there? We can use the vines over there to tie them all together and make rafts.
Are you sure that's not the smelly scent of King Kong logs?
Are those actually logs or King
There we
Kong
go.
poop?
Yeah, folks, we already were making fun of that shit.
If somebody makes fan fiction about King Kong's poop, I will personally hunt them down.
Meanwhile, Kong takes Anne over to a waterfall where, oh, wet woman. Well, Kong's breath is known to have traces of bananas, so I can't blame him for that. So the crew row on the rafts, only to be attacked by... Yep, motherfucker! So the crew swim to shore as several sailors are eaten. God, this movie's a snuff film.
Monsters belong in B movies.
Holy shit!
After an exchange of Star Trek-esque fighting, Jack splits off as the crew come across a baby Triceratops. Aw, well isn't that precious? The baby just wants to play. Well, that took a dark turn. But, to quote Jeff Goldblum,
Mommy's very angry.
as the mother charges the crew, they run off towards the log bridge. Of course, Kong ends up killing them aside from Denim and Jack, as Anne is suddenly attacked by... Real talk. Okay, I'm so sorry for this, folks. I don't know what the hell I was thinking making this suit that looks like a rejected Amazing Spider-Man Halloween costume. I mean, good God, right at the time we were filming this, the inflatable T-Rex showed up. I think that would have been a much better fit. But hey, if Casper was here, I guess you could say it was really bad timing! So after Kong rips into the best moment in the film, he takes the wounded Anne up to his lair as Jack continues the pursuit. Meanwhile, we cut back to the village as Hyde returns with the results of the oil.
Well, the test results are in.
You are the
Jesus Christ!
But Denim returns and plots a plan with Bob to capture Kong. Back at Kong's lair, Jack has caught up to Kong as Anne is attacked yet again. Yeah, I know, you're expecting a Terry joke from Pee-wee's Playhouse, but the Nostalgia Critic already did a joke like that, so I'm not even gonna bother. Bottom line, the king is a tad bit mad. So Anne and and Jack jump into the river below and take a break in the jungle.
I love you.
Are you serious?
I just went through hell and back for you. What am I supposed to do?
I don't know, Jack. What do you expect? That if you rescued me, I'd be eternally grateful? It doesn't work like that!
Yeah, if I was tied down to a giant ape swinging through the jungles, fighting dinosaurs and stripping me down naked, I'd probably beat up Tommy Wiseau too. Oh, please kiss. It's gonna look so awkward.
I love you, Jack.
So Jack and Anne make it back to the wall as Kong breaks through, only to be trapped by the Venture crew who form a mutiny against Jack.
Leave him alone!
Moving, you crazy bitch!
It's nice to know that all the villains in this movie have the same personality as Billy Zane in Titanic. But the movie goes Congo Unchained as the crew flee to the boats. However, Denim has some more gas to unleash. So Kong is shipped to New York as the entire media and public come to enjoy the entertainment rather than protest the rights of the animal. Realism at its finest. We're in the money. Denim uses cattle prods to unleash the wrath of Kong as Anne attempts to stop the show. This looks like a job for TMZ paparazzi.
Stop! Let go of me! That part of it, Anne, you're ruining my show!
But of course, Kong escapes and runs amok in the city.
I want my money back. No refunds after the first 2 minutes.
However, instead of trying to help keep the danger away, Denim has other sinister plans.
Why are you doing this? Because I'm a villain.
So Denim takes Anne up to the Empire State Building and what fucking luck! Kong happens to show up! Remember me, it's a horrible green screen effect! So Anne lets Kong take her up to the top of the building, as both seem safe from the jungles of civilizations. Until...
Fire!
Okay, Marines, it's time to kick ass. We commend using embargoes to take out the bridge.
Hey, you get it.
Maverick's airborne.
It's enough!
Going in. Cover me, Porkins. I'm right with you, Red 3.
Oh, now you're cutting to Star Wars and... Oh, for fuck's sakes!
At last, my dream is finally realized! I have created the greatest dogfight in cinematic history! Ha 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 ha! Ow! Motherfucker! Ah!
So Kong is shot to a bloody pulp as he falls to his death with Ant. Holy shit!
Now there's something you don't see every day.
Okay. That's the last Titanic joke I make in this review. And besides, the riffing part of it is almost over. So Kong, of course, dies a fallen tragic hero, saving the one he loves. Jack manages to keep Anne out of the press's reach as an old, frail woman seems to deliver the final line of irony and remembrance.
It wasn't the helicopters. It was beauty that killed the beast.
I am in no way implying this happened 85 years ago. Or 40 years ago. Or 15 years ago. Oh, fuck it. I'm gonna go take a walk with my granddaughter in Central Park and tell her a story about a half-bred wolf voiced by Kevin Bacon. So, after riffing my own damn creation, what do I actually think of this film?
Oh, shit! No! I don't want to review it!
Well, to be honest, looking back on this project I worked on for 6 years, I think as a test for my first feature film, to once again quote the Ghostbusters.
Successful test.
Yeah, I'm pretty much proud of what I've accomplished here and how far I've come since then in learning such an experience. The backstory for this project was, of course, my inspiration for Kong growing up. Watching the original film and the '76 remake countless times, writing Kongfrontation at Universal Orlando, and viewing the 2005 film in theaters was a major influence in wanting to pursue my own version for many years. But really, after visiting Hollywood back in 2010, not to mention riding the newly built King Kong 360 3D attraction, my interest started to peak with the advances of the new technology I had to finally pursue a proper remake as my first featured film. Production began in 2011 and the film wasn't released until 2016 for a massive budget for our taking at over $4,000, which is a lot considering the time and effort we put in. Most of the actors and crew were all high school friends and shot over the weekends, and you know what, I'm not going to go into full details here since I'd rather tell more in a making of documentary, so why don't we move on to something different. So instead of myself reviewing my own damn creation, I decided to let the fans review this film for me. With that said, let's narrate out what the fans think of this film, starting with the characters. The characters, for the most part, range from great to okay, and a lot of people love the changes of their personalities, and many of the actors do a great job. Brett Charles' Jack is fantastic in the role. He's actually trying his best to take the part seriously, going from a stern captain, a shy ladies' man, and a full-blown action hero. Almost a mix of Bruce Campbell and Jeff Bridges, though he still has his weird deliveries. Even his mad voice is cringy at times. It's less Jeff Bridges from Kong 76 and more Jeff Bridges from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like, your opinion, man.
Ian Darrow as a character is good as well, and Sylvana Boonstraw comes off as enthusiastic, caring, and adventurous. Her relationship with Kong is very sweet, and the most important aspect in a Kong movie since you have to believe Anna's in love with Kong, even if it's more of a chemistry between Beauty and Beast. The character feels like a decent blend of all the previous women in Kong, but also feels like the character jumped out of a high school from an anime. Yeah, that was kind of intentional on my part, cause, I kind of based the character on Kagome, and yeah, you can kind of see where the writing goes on this part.
Hey!
I regret that. Even Jack and Anne's relationship is very believable, and it's very enduring of how much they care for each other, even if it comes off as cliche as a Disney film.
You can't marry a man you just met.
I regret using that clip as well. However, for most people, the best character in the whole movie is none other than the villain of the piece, Carl Denham, played by the talented Jake Robertson. Many have praised the character's turn into a classic Hollywood villain on par with Billy Zane in Titanic or Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. But honestly, many people claim the character to be what Fred Wilson should have been in 1976. Now, while I can see that, that wasn't my intention. It was more to respect the character as he was portrayed in the original 1996 Peter Jackson draft, mixed with the performance Robert De Niro had in Casino. Jake Robertson is a lot of fun to watch chewing up the scenery, and the character is surprisingly evil. Not just greedy for some rhyme or reason, but he sinisterly becomes proud of the giant ape attacking the city. Dude, that's a fucking sociopath! He might as well just add a long mustache to twirl while he's at it. And we just love him for that, and many praise his death when he finally falls. The story for most is well done. Many like the way it fixed the problems with the previous films like the 1976 remakes such as the dinosaurs or the ending, and many love the elements I took from the other scripts from the unmade Kong films, such as The Legend of King Kong and the Peter Jackson 1996 draft, putting in a lot of the details of the plot, and for 2 hours it moves at a good pace. The movie felt like a nice blend of the 1933 Kong with the 1976 Kong. It's not a bad attempt of remaking it, and it keeps it fresh and new on how it takes place in the present day, as well as add some new scenes like the Triceratops chase and other dinosaur scenes. People even love the ending, which some have actually cried at given the unexpected twist and Kong's final breaths at life. And the ending scene where the elderly woman unearths the famous line, "'Twas beauty killed the beast," was a good mix-up by having someone very wise to say that line. It was more of a nod to Fay Wray, who was originally suggested to make a cameo speaking the line since the 1975 Universal production. The only nitpick some have had is that Skull Island doesn't have a lot of screen time, since some wanted to see more inhabitants of the island that Kong has to live with.
Really?
When I posted the deleted scenes, many questioned why I cut certain dinosaur scenes out, like Kong taking on a pack of raptors. Hell, some have considered that I should have added more scenes taking elements from the 1996 draft or The Legend of King Kong, or even create an actual prologue rather than a written text prologue. This is a remake of King Kong, guys, not walking with dinosaurs on Skull Island. If you want a documentary on the history of the island, I'd suggest watching Skull Island: A Natural History for that. The special effects, despite being a fan film and on a small budget, aren't going to be the highest quality, but they get the job done. The stop-motion dinosaurs are very impressive, and the film clearly had a lot of effort put into going back to the 1933 style of special effects. Mixing some 1933 stuff and 21st century creature effects is a major challenge, but manages to have a certain charm to them. The Apatosaurus stampede with the Carnotaurus pack was nice, but some seemed kind of odd about how the Carno sounded using vulture and bulldog sounds, and that they didn't fit well with the medium-sized carnivores. The Parasaurolophus in the swamp, while being a tribute to the Legend of King Kong script, some felt that a creature like the Spinosaurus or a Baryonyx should have been the swamp monster, as a nod to the scene in Jurassic Park 3. Looking at it in retrospective, that could have worked as well. But there are some corny effects in there, like Kong fighting the giant snake, which uses a plush snake on wires to achieve the effects. The T-Rex, for the most part, looks okay, looking like a decent design inspired by the creatures in hand-drawn animation like the T-Rex in Fantasia or the Sharptooth in The Land Before Time. However, some stated it to look like something that Ed and Nettie would make for their scams. Hell, I'm surprised I didn't add these sound effects into the fight scene.
Hey!
Some have even stated that I should have used 3D models rather than practical effects. The reason I chose that was not only a cost-effective matter, but also coming from a director who finds practical effects to be more realistic than anything CG nowadays. Even the sound effects, some would say, would have been better with classic dinosaur and Kong roars from the previous movies. But I wanted to give the film much more of a new soundtrack by creating my own creature sounds, including using actual gorilla sounds for Kong himself, which I don't think any other Kong film has used to this date. Speaking of which, let's talk about King Kong himself. And for what it's worth, the suit is good, and Bradley Dunn, who also played Herb in the film, does a really damn good physical job in the costume. Although some have said that the eyes need some improvements, while others enjoyed the concept of him showing no expression as more animal-like. The character himself is really great, having better emotions than the 76 Kong, but that's kind of a stretch since no one will be able to top Baker in that bearskin suit. The music is also decent and really brings out the love scenes and the action scenes. It really is good to hear an old school score to the film on par with the likes of The Lost World or Waterworld. But as much as I praise my own work, I can't help but have hindsight over the many flaws with it. Some have been honest, saying this is one of the most entertainingly bad movies of all time, up there with Plan 9, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, and Troll 2. While the special effects are sometimes good, there are scenes that they were not always perfect. Some of the dinosaurs, like the T-Rex costume and pterodactyl scenes, look so cheap that it actually makes it look fake. Yeah, we worked hard on the costume, but some suggested that we could have had an inflatable dinosaur costume for more realism. The only problem is that the T-Rex costume was completely unexistent by the time we started shooting. I mean, would you rather us use a goofy mascot outfit seen in Big Chimp? Cause I think what we did was more intimidating. As for the pterodactyl, yeah, I can agree this wasn't the best effect. The smiley face is cheesy as hell. I mean, I could have used a pteranodon toy from Jurassic Park, but none of the models I had the right scale to match against Kong. Although now when you go to a Toys R Us, there's plenty to choose from. Seriously, when the fuck was this when we were shooting?
Keep your shirt on. Keep your shirt on, Jack.
Some of the green screen effects look alright at times, but some come off as rushed or terrible. Again, this movie was a major experiment all the way through, so some of the effects were more or less test subjects. Some have even said that the editing was clumsy. For example, there's a lot of scenes where Jack Driscoll's character's hair keeps changing from short to long. Yeah, continuity wasn't on our minds when we were shooting. However, many have complained about some of the character choices, mainly how Jack and Carl constantly butt heads throughout the movie, and then suddenly when they're presenting Kong, they act like friends. As well as the character of Bob Grodin feeling rather out of place when it wasn't needed. Some feel he really drags the story out. At the time of shooting, I wasn't thinking about how it would portray on screen, and in hindsight shows how some things look good on paper but doesn't translate well on screen. And yeah, a lot of that is seen in the film, mostly in the characters. Some have said Anne's character is wildly inconsistent and unlikable in the way that she feels about Kong, and it makes their relationship feel very weak by the end. Also, there are plenty of inconsistencies within the plot, like why Herb wears 30s clothes when it's supposed to be modern times, why Carl says they need to film for their camera when it's clearly the digital age, and some have even questioned the character of Kong himself. While Kong is portrayed as a vicious beast, some say he doesn't really drive much of the story, and many ask why I made Kong cry in some scenes. In a way, it takes a lot of the curiosity and intimidation out of the character. I would explain it here, but I'd rather save more details in the documentary. But come on, the movie's not all that bad. In fact, I guarantee the comments section in the film is a lot more positive.
Hey. You ready to watch Rampage for the next episode?
Not tonight.
That's not like you. What's wrong?
I gotta do some reflecting.
I hated this movie. Hated this movie. Hated it. Hated every simpering, stupid, vacant, audience-insulting moment of it.
This movie's horrendous! It's horrendous! It's just ungodly, unnatural!
Today I went and saw it. And it
sucked! I don't know who the fuck thought this was a good idea. This is one of the ugliest, most ill-conceived, incompetent, most depressing pieces of dreck that I've had to watch for this show.
Hey, kid, don't do that.
Oh, great! More characters to deal with! How pathetically predictable! I've got enough of those on my plate with that fictional dimensional transporter I have at home. The fuck do you want, asshole? Can't you see I'm trying to kill myself?
That would be a poor decision.
Well, what the hell do you want? I didn't know death catches you before you die.
Nah, you can call me the guardian angel, if anything.
Let me guess, this is a spoof of It's a Wonderful Life. Sorry, buddy, you're on the wrong set. Why don't you go spook up a Scrooge or something?
Hey, Hump Nuggets, it's ridiculous to think of ending everything over a movie. I mean, over a $4,000 movie?
The fuck? How do you know it costs that much?
Like I said, I'm a guardian angel. I know everything about you, asshole.
Well, then you must know how much of a piece of shit it was. And quite frankly, I deserved it. It's ironic, really. I spent a whole year reviewing low-class fan films, bashing the shit out of them like it's no one's business just to feel better about myself. But in reality, I'm no different. So let me guess, you're gonna show me what everybody's life would be like without me.
Actually, no.
What?
I'm here to knock some sense into you. Think about it. You did what so many had dreamed to do. You know how many kids back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s wanted to do a feature-length remake of their favorite films but lacked the will or ambition to do so? Ray Harryhausen, Steven Spielberg, John Landis, Peter Jackson. You accomplished what they couldn't do at your age. And not only that, you inspired others to create their own. You lit the fire of ambition. Even if they don't have the best equipment or technology, you gave them motivation. I'd like to see you take a breather. Close your eyes and think about what has come about because of what you created. Do as you will.
It was King Kong that actually started my love of fantasy and science fiction. What King Kong does, I think, if you're of the right frame of mind, is it totally inspires you to think about the trickery of films. It's the wonderful escapist use of special effects.
I think the best takeaway from this movie, just follow your dreams. If you have a passion project that you want to get together, it's not impossible to do. Like Jack showed here, he wanted to make a King Kong fan film. And he put a lot of work into it, he got people involved. Took a few years to get done, but it's finally out there.
I admire the attempt, and I give massive praise and massive respect to Jack.
Jack did a great job of making a loving tribute to the three main King Kong films. He put a lot of time and effort into making this film, and as someone who is interested in the filmmaking business, I really respect him for that. You done good, Jack. You done good.
Oh my God. I now realize something that's been in my thought process for over a year now. As the years have come on with the film's release, there have been several criticisms of the film, both good and bad. And despite them, it's hard to believe where my life would be now if I had not taken the challenge in remaking my favorite film. The production itself was taking a lot out of me, and at the time, I wasn't really focused on my YouTube channel as a whole. That is until 2013, as I wanted to cover something that no others had done yet, a massive retrospective on the history of King Kong. When I started this show, I was in our final year in production and needed something to help reduce my stress, some other project to fill in the time. Never did I realize that due to my fascination with the story and characters of Kong, could it create a show that has passed from a simple miniseries retrospective to a full-blown show that has even surpassed Kong himself and create the highest grossing segments on the channel. And to the point, once the film was released, it not only came out during the peak of the King Kong review's success, but also inspired many others to create their own reviews and fan films of the beloved ape. Hell, some of the films I reviewed this year took influence from my own film. And despite the many flaws, crew continuity errors, and criticisms as a whole, if my film can inspire people to make their own movies, then I've achieved what the entire history of King Kong is all about: imagination and creative filmmaking. Because King Kong wasn't a story told in fairy tales or books. It's the definitive movie that was created specifically for the motion picture screen, and that alone is the best reward for me, which is why I'm giving my own film a good 7.6 out of 10. It may not be perfect, but it was something I'm still very proud of and will be till the day I die. Hey man, thanks for kicking me out of the deep end. I almost lost my shit. Hey wait! Where are you going?
I gotta head back. You might want to do the same, Jack. I think you and your robot buddy have a date tonight.
You're right. Thank you, my friend.
Of course, anything for someone who reviewed more King Kong films and knockoffs than anyone on the planet.
It's funny. It's almost like you did your own set of King Kong review. Oh my god.
Take care, kid.